What's up, guys? I have a new knife review for you. I know, I'm quite excited myself. It's been way too long for a knife review, so I'm trying to knock out a couple of them today. Today we're looking at the Sanrenmu 763. This is a very popular I know I screw up in the past. I think in the past I called it a Sanrenmu. It's not. It's Sanrenmu. It is what it is. I don't know why I have a hard time saying it, but I do. So that's what it is. It's what I do with the Sanrenmu. This is one of the more popular ones because it has the axis lock. This is also the more expensive one, coming in at about $11. It's going to set you back if you find it on eBay, in and around, I don't know, I guess $9 to $15 or so. I've seen them on Amazon for like 25 bucks, so if you want to get them there, don't. Go on eBay, half the price. But generally speaking, the company, Sanrenmu, their knives, all their models range anywhere from like $3 or $4 to like, 15 bucks. Extremely cheap. But why they're so popular, and I understand this now, having had the opportunity to use one for a while, is they're the best, in my opinion, the best quality piece of crap knife out there. That's the best way I can put it. I know that sounds horrible because it's not a piece of crap, but people ask me sometimes, I hear that they're great knives. Are they great knives? No, they're not. They're not great knives. If you compare them to a $60 knife or a $200 knife or a $500 knife, no, they're not. They're cheap Chinese-made knives. But within their own category, within their price range and what they are by far the very best value out there, period. No question about it. As far as Chinese companies go, they do it right. Little details like their hardware, although soft, it's not nearly as soft as some other Chinese-made knives, some other Taiwanese-made knives or Pakistani-made knives where they strip out completely. But more importantly than anything, they do the heat treat right, and they have the exact same supplier for their steels as some of the other major companies out there. This one specifically being 8CR13 MOV. This is the exact same steel with the exact same heat treat that performs exactly the same as some $30 knives, some $40 knives, some $60 knives, and in some cases $80, $90 knives with the same CR13 MOV. So for $11, at the end of the day, you're getting the exact same performance, of course, design, locking mechanism, overall quality, that all set aside. Our blade that we use to cut things, this is what it all comes down to. Everything else aside, this will perform the same as knives that are 6, 7, 8, 10 times more money than this. So with that being said, these are fantastic knives for the price. If I compare this directly to a $100 knife, the $100 knife will be better, 9 out of 10 times. Of course, there are exceptions. There are some expensive knives that aren't that great. But the point here is that what are you going to get for your $100 knife here, as opposed to what are you going to get for your 11 bucks here? And you can't beat it. It's extremely hard to beat. And believe me, I've had lots of knives in my hands, lots of cheap knives, and I've never had anything that represented the same as this company, Sanrenmu, does. So I'm extremely pleased with that. All right, that's my intro, just in case you're getting bored, or you just like about to walk out the door, or you're done with your meal and you want to shut the video off. You can shut it off. If you don't care about the details, there you go. If you get it by cheap, buy Sanrenmu, period. But for the rest of you who care about details, or you're only halfway through your sandwich and you want to watch the rest of the video, here you go. So first thing I want to talk about is the packaging, because I'm kind of a strange guy and I find humor in some really odd places, and I certainly had a good laugh reading this package, and I'll explain why in a second. So let's take a look at this. We have our normal little clamshell style package. There's a knife. Okay, no big deal. You take it and throw it out. But I don't throw it out. I read things. Packaging artwork on the front, very plain, simple. Company name, Folding Knives. Okay, high quality handicrafts. Good deal. Logo on the top. But the fun starts when we flip it over. The first thing I notice is reading. I don't want to read. I skip right down to the picture. Okay, and I look at this picture and it shows how to use. Makes sense, right? Just in case you have a knife and you don't know how to use it. I don't know, maybe it's the first time you ever had a folding knife. So there you go. There's it's showing it in the pocket. Okay, that's what this thing's for. I'll just put it in my pocket. Okay, we're good. Ooh, that's how you open the blade. And this I found to be extremely useless. I don't know why. They're showing you, okay, close the blade. But I guess very generic backing. What this shows me, obviously having some experience with knives, is this is telling me maybe perhaps a liner lock. You see the thumb that is inside the handle here. Obviously, in this particular case, this is useless. It's not going to help you. If you had no knowledge of knives whatsoever, okay, I carry it in my pocket. Now, okay, I opened it. Now, how do I close it? Just close it. No, it's not going to work. They don't really get into the, it's got this kind of lock deal. That means nothing at all. And some of you probably think I'm wasting your time by even talking about this, but I find it funny. So that's why I mentioned it. But even more funny was when I went back and I did not be lazy and I actually read the rest of this. So here we go, I'll read it to you. This knife is made from a very special type of stainless steel. I beg to differ, but that being said, yes, for $11, probably one of the best edges you're gonna get. The best steel performance for 11 bucks. There's a flip fail. Flip fail. I gotta redeem myself with a couple flips. There we go. Okay, so this will ensure long life for the blade sharpness and hardening. We achieve this blade quality by a special process of forging and heat treating. Not really special. Pretty much every knife that's particularly used or made to be a knife is forged and heat treated, whether machine or by hand. So anyway, but I get it. They're selling it to you. They're pitching it to you. The idea is you pick this up somewhere and you read the back and you go, I don't know if I want to buy this knife. And you read it and you go, you know what? Special process. I have to buy this knife. This is a good one. They're telling me right here, it's great. But here's where the fun really gets started. In order to protect the knife, do not allow it to be exposed to damp conditions for long periods. That's a plus. Totally agree with that. Otherwise, small spots may appear on the blade and or handle. Cool. I get that. Totally true. If this occurs, wipe the knife with a cloth with light oil and problem is gone. Awesome. But here we go. The quality guarantee got me a little confused. I just don't understand. I think this is a loss in translation because this is a Chinese company and they're writing instructions in English and information in English, and I don't know why. Like I said, just thought this was pretty funny. So here we go. In the unlikely event that you should have a quality problem, in quotes, with the knife, we will replace it at no charge. For 3 months after the purchase date, you will be responsible for keeping your purchase receipt to verify your purchase date. So, I don't know why it's on there. I think that is friggin' hilarious. No charge. I don't understand if the quotes are not supposed to be there. If they're telling you there is a charge, why wouldn't they just say we will replace it at a small fee, perhaps? I just don't know why it was there. And quality problem. Like they're questioning whether you actually have a problem and you don't really know if you're gonna get charged for it. So there's my long unnecessary intro because I thought that was funny and I want to share it with you guys because you're all my friends. So thank you. Thanks for listening. All right, so now on to the important things. The knife. Here it is. Some specs. Blade, like I said, 8CR13 MOV. What I do like about this literally is the same CR13 MOV. You're going to see in all these different companies, CRKTs using the same stuff. Some of Benchmade's, the international, well, they don't have a red class anymore, but some of their H&K models and so forth, they're still making them overseas. Same exact steel. There's a variety of companies out there. I don't have to name all of them, but you guys have heard that over and over and over again, time after time. You're looking for cheaper knives, and that's what you hear, 8CR13 MOV. So it's the same stuff though. Same exact stuff in a $5 knife, $11 knife from this company as you're gonna pay 30, 40, 50 bucks elsewhere. So that I am extremely impressed with. I really, really like that. All right, closed 3.66 inches. Now directly from Sanrenmu's website, their information is FRN. I'm gonna have to believe them because that's the information they're giving me directly, but it really seems like G10. Could be an error. Again, maybe loss of translation. I don't know, but I would put a lot of money on the fact that this is probably G10. It doesn't seem, feel, look anything like FRN, but it is what it is. Feels just like G10. You can even kind of see the layering here. Yeah, but FRN is what they're saying. Could be an error. Open 6.22 inches, and the weight on this is 2.05 ounces. It is extremely lightweight. It carries very nicely in the pocket. You don't even know it's there. We'll get right into the pocket clip because we're talking about it. Relatively deep carry. They do use Loctite on their hardware, which is nice. Okay, so the screws aren't going to fall out very easily. Pocket clip functions great. The tension's very good on it. It's one thing I don't talk about too often, but the tension on a pocket clip, well, actually I do kind of talk about it often. I suppose. But the tension on the pocket clip is a big deal for me. I don't want a pocket clip that's like this and it's loose and it's gonna fall out. That's total crap. No one wants that, right? But at the same time, what's even worse to me is when the pocket clip is way too tight, and by design, it kind of doesn't allow the knife to come out very easily. Do you ever go to grab your knife out of your pocket and just like, even if there's, you know, texturing on it, all kinds of jimping, all kinds of crap, you just kind of like, whoa, what was that? It slipped out of my hands because the pocket clip is just holding on for dear life and it's just way too tight. This is extremely prevalent in cold steel knives. Love cold steel knives. I do. I'm a fan of a lot of different companies. I love their products. I love the innovation they have. Lynn Thompson's hilarious. Love watching the guy. Hopefully I'll meet him one day. I'll have to film that. But I don't know what the deal is with the pocket clips. They're like holding on to that pocket for dear life, and they're horrible. And it takes away overall from the knife experience because, I mean, the knives are just awesome. But, you know, if you can't get them out of your pocket all the time, you're not going to carry them. But anyway, this pocket clip is perfect. If you have like a skeletonized design, it lightens it. Not that that's really an issue. You don't have a heavy pocket clip anytime. But what it does allow is for more flex. Okay, instead of having a solid piece of metal here, we're basically flexing just the you know, the outside parts. So perfect tension on this. It's tight in the pocket when it has to be, but it's smoothed out. The design's good. It's easy to get in and out of the pocket. So I really like that. We will notice that in addition to the pocket clip, we have a lanyard, I don't know what to call it, I guess a bail. I've never been a fan of this style, and 99% of the time what happens is there's steel liners, and what they do is the whatever kind of scale you have, they'll do a cutout so that the liners actually act as a lanyard hole. Instead of drilling a hole through the whole thing, they'll just kind of leave that exposed. You see this design quite frequently, and from a bunch of different companies. I don't like it ever. And there's one major reason why, because we have a thin material that is digging into the palm of our hand. When you're using this knife in a very hard manner, it's going to be uncomfortable in the palm. All right, I want something back here that, you know, when you're using this knife really hard, you get a lot of pressure into the palm and the lower part of your hand. So I want something that's rounded. I want something that's substantial and, you know, thick, at least as thick as the you know, the body of the knife. So stuff like this I don't like by design. What I found was interesting, not that it makes a difference at all, but this, you know, lanyard bail, I guess we can call it, is a completely separate piece. And on the inside, you can see the plate on the bottom here. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. So that was an added piece. There are no full liners in here because this has the axis lock. If you ever, you know, seen one of my videos or someone else's video on the axis lock being taken apart on the Griptilians in particular, you'll notice that the guts of the knife are all right here, and it's not necessary to have full liners. So they went with the same design, but it's literally a separate piece that's integrated into the knife. So, you know, it is what it is. It's not my style as far as function and form. I don't like it because of that reason. It does create a hot spot on here. Speaking of hot spots, heavily jimped everywhere. It's great for grip. It feels really good in the hand. I get a very comfortable 3-finger grip on this. The pinky kind of is left to, you know, fend by itself. But if you had smaller hands, or if you really kind of squeeze them in there and grip there, you can get a full 4-finger grip. But naturally, just grabbing the knife and opening it, you're not gonna, for most people anyway, you're not gonna comfortably get 4 fingers in there. You're gonna grab it probably 3 or 3.5 at best. But that being said, you do have the option to throw a lanyard on there, you know, tie up substantial knot or some kind of pattern that will give you more body to hold on to. You know, getting into knives, or, you know, having used knives for so long, I do tend to favor deep finger choils, and you're seeing them very frequently in new designs for that reason. They're functional, people like them, they work great. This does not have you know, any kind of deep finger choil. It's not a huge deal, but it's just a preference I've grown to like. The handle does extend out a little bit, so you have a slight guard, which will keep your hand from riding up. For some reason you do penetrate into something, stab something, or, you know, you're slicing your hand. If you lose your grip a little bit, it's not going to move forward very easily. But as I said, very grippy. There's jimping on the top here. It continues onto the spine of the blade, where your thumb rest is. It's extremely comfortable to use lightly. Again, you get into hard use, all these corners, all these, you know, nooks and crannies and stuff like that, the kind of squared off design, very militant type look overall, gets uncomfortable. That's inherently going to happen. Most of the time, you guys aren't going to use your knives really, really hard for, you know, 5-10 minutes at a time. You're probably going to take it out, cut a few things, put it away. Won't be an issue for medium. That's light and medium together. Feel free to use that word. I make them up all the time. Light or medium cutting chores, not gonna be an issue. For most of you, I would say 90% of you out there don't use your knives really, really hard for extended periods of time. Even myself, unless I'm doing specific testing, it's rare that I will use a knife for 10 minutes straight on something. You take your knife out, you cut something, that's it, you're done. So not gonna be a huge issue, but keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting this for hard use. Pocket clip, by the way, I didn't say this before, but there is a spot here on the back, which is milled out of the handle, so you can swap it to left-hand carry. Okay, it's gonna be right-hand tip up from the factory, which is very preferable. Again, it's nice when the company sees what the market has to offer and see what people's feedback are. I know firsthand that every single knife company out there, they watch your YouTube videos, they read your comments, they go on the forums, because guess what? They have a product and they want to sell it to you. They want to sell something you want to buy. So they actually do listen to us. It's a great community, the knife community in general, although there's certainly drama like any other business community. They're very good and hands-on with their customer base. So that is awesome. That's what I love about them the most. They actually care what their customers want, and they continue to improve on that. All companies across the board. So A+ for knife people and knife companies. What's interesting about this knife is they incorporated a little cutout into the tang here, so that when the knife is closed, you have a bottle opener. Very nice, very simple thing. It's just a little additive thing. Some people will say that's gimmicky. I find it to be extremely cool, to be honest. I mean, they have a flat spot on top here, of course, so you can use that little trick to open a bottle that way, but this is a very functional bottle opener. And honestly, it's very cool. I'll admit it, I was impressed with that. Blade shape, we have a basically like a modified drop point, light swedge on here. A lot of belly with this design, as opposed to maybe dropping the point down even more and kind of having a more gradual curvature in the blade. It's up kind of high, and so it drops down right away into this extreme belly, which is very good for slicing. It's a really good blade. It's a little bit harder to hand sharpen, but it's not a huge deal. You can hopefully see by the reflection here, we have a hollow ground blade. This was sharp out of the box. We do have double thumb studs here for right hand or left hand opening, but as most people do with an axis lock, you're barely ever even touching the thumb stud. I happen to like to flick them out and then close them just with the axis lock, but a lot of people don't even bother. They just use the axis lock to both open and close the knife. So just preference, but people definitely love playing with these locks. It's a fun knife to actually play around with when you're bored. So cutting performance is adequate. Design overall is pretty good. There's a couple hits here and there, but no knife's perfect. And of course, my opinion and your opinion may be different. Overall, I can say it is highly, 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 extremely highly recommended. Highly, by myself. If you really are on a tight budget, or you just have an interest in a cheap knife, period. That's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on this Sanrenmu 763. So I hope to get some more models in the future and compare and contrast, but the overall feedback from the knife community has been generally positive. Some people are very hardcore, no Chinese knives, no matter what kind of a thing. But if you don't have a political stance on this, or if your political stance isn't as important as you getting a tool for the cheapest amount of money you possibly can that's going to work for you, if that's the case, this is the one to get. I always recommend, trying to buy. I mean, of course, this is broadcasted worldwide. So there's a lot of you guys watching. If you really care less about the United States, I live in the United States. I like the United States. I like to keep my money in my economy. So that's just my personal opinion. I like to buy American if I can. But everyone's guilty of being a good consumer. And being a good consumer means trying to get the best possible product for the least amount of money. And if you're looking to do so, this is a good one to pick up, as well as I'm sure all the other ones, but I'll confirm that in the future. But if you have a problem with it, no charge. So I thought that was pretty funny. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take care.